Hey y'all, this is Audra Hicks of Simply Home, your Tennessee Realtor. I wanted to go over the buying process today with you, so stay tuned because I put the real in real estate. So on the buying side, I am a realtor that does listings and help buyers too. Some agents like to only do listings and some only like to help buyers. Um, for me, I think being able to do both helps you in each one of those categories too. Not only during the process, but through negotiations and things like that, because you understand both sides, whether it's listing or buying. But today I wanted to go over a little bit about the buying process. So when I set up to have a buyer's consultation with my buyers at my office, I like to sit down with them, have fun, play some different games of getting to know them, and have them fill out things that, even for birthdays and anniversaries, and down to what kind of candy bar they like or where they like to go eat dinner or whatever, and do their top 9 list for houses. Kind of get to know them, and sometimes I've had buyers consultations last, golly, I think one was 3 or 4 hours long, because I go over in depth of how the buying process works. Now, do you absorb everything during the process? Some do, some don't. I still have to go through the process, and then I will send documents afterwards to let them know, hey, here's what's going to go on through the process. So when you're buying a home, you really need to have some money for your upfront expenses as well set aside. You will end up needing to do a home inspection, sometimes the termite inspection for a termite letter, depending on what loan you get, and of course your earnest money. So say we find a home and we go under contract, and depending on the amount of the home, earnest money, I've had anywhere from $500 to a couple of thousand, or I think one of my cash one they put down 10,000. Depends on the home that you're buying too. So and your financing as well, or not financing if you're all cash. So so your earnest money, you'll need that. So up front, you may be looking at anywhere from $1,000, $1,500 to whatever it is you might want to put down for your earnest money. So that is your upfront expenses. Now, if you go under contract on a home and we discover in the home inspection that you really are not comfortable moving forward, then we have to get a release from the other side, and an earnest money release, as long as we are in our contingency period where we can do that. There's paperwork and things that you have to do in order to do that and get your earnest money back. And so if you decide during that time that you don't want to move forward, the only thing that you are out is your home inspection money. But, the thing that I say is you would want to know now, and even if you lost $400 or $500 in the process, it's really not a loss. That was your insurance policy for not being comfortable in that home. There may be some major stuff the seller may not want to fix. Sometimes my buyers, if they ever have wanted to get out, it's got to be a lot of major things that really scares them from buying the home. Or if the seller isn't willing to fix things, or give them money at closing to fix whatever, they've just got to feel comfortable in buying the home. And I never push my people to buy a home if they're not comfortable doing that either, which I don't push you to buy a home in the first place. You come see me and when we go shopping or whatever. But for that process, then you would be out that money. Not your earnest money, but your inspection money. But that is a great insurance policy up front to know how sound that house is. The only reasons I have seen in the past where my clients have walked is the major things, you know, um, that you can't see when you just go see a home. It's things that's brought up during a home inspection, but they're usually major. But during the process, your home inspection, if you move forward past it, that's great. Most of the time, 9 times out of 10, you will see that they move forward and then we go to the end and everything. But in between there is a lot of, you've got your home inspection, you've got termite, you've got your appraisal that needs to come in. Sometimes that may come in lower, and then I, as the buyer's agent, have to go to the seller's agent and or the listing agent, as you call it, and let them know that it did not appraise, and then we have to negotiate or whatever. And it depends on the loan and everything. A lot of things go into play that people don't see. As an agent, you see the HGTV and think that it's fun all the time, and you're just out showing homes and seeing homes and raking in money. That is not how it goes in real estate. It costs a lot to be a real, true, full-time agent. There are a lot of part-time agents, and then they have jobs outside of that. I'm a full-time single agent. Not, I am married, but single agent, meaning I'm not on a team. But my team is my hubby, my son, my 2 fur babies. All of us make a great team, and we have a purpose in our real estate world. So, for me as a single agent and being full-time, I pull out all the stops. I make sure that I take care of my clients from start to finish and after the process. We have made friends with so many clients, even after the sale. There's some coming to our home today that they visit us twice a week, and there's some we're going to dinner with tonight that live across the street that I moved in the neighborhood. So that's what we love. We love building those relationships, those lasting relationships with clients, to be lifelong friends and family, actually. So we love that. And you get to know your clients if you are a diligent agent that really does pull out all the stops and is very communicative with clients, and goes above and beyond, and not just do paperwork and call it a day. I don't just go stick a sign in the yard and put it on the MLS on a listing side and call it a day. On the buy side, I don't just say, well, you send me some houses you want to go see. That's not the way it works with me. I will look up every day for my buyers and send homes. I put them on an auto notify, so that they get everything that has came out for that day. Anything new, they're going to get it by email. I will also text them and send them homes. They may have already received them, but I still look up homes on a daily basis for each individual client that I have that's on the buy side. And sometimes listings are buyers too, because I'm selling their house and we're buying a home too. So sometimes you have both worlds in that. I think doing listings and helping buyers too helps me be more well-rounded with knowing what to do on both sides. So during the buying process, so let's see, we talked about appraisals. So your appraisal will happen. So if a buyer needs a survey done before closing, I will need to get that all set up. Sometimes there is a survey. If there's a septic tank on the property, I always do my due diligence. Even if the listing agent doesn't have records for it, I make sure that there are no records, and I do that on my own too, for my being diligent for my buyer to make sure. Hey, and I have found many times that there are records out there. So it's knowing where to go get them. So on the septic side, there's that. If you have a well on the property that you're buying, and it depends on your loan, we may have to get that inspected. If you want septic to be inspected, then I have septic inspection companies and ones that pump it and things like that for clients as well. So I have a list of different contractors or vendors and home inspection companies, pest, all of that, because most clients do not know who to use. So I have a list, and I give it to my buyers so that they can have something to go by, and they can go down the list and call them themselves, or they can have me set it up. A lot of times they just have me do it, and I ask them who they want to use, because I don't really want to pick that for you. But the people on my list are ones that I know that get us to the end, especially lender wise. On the buy side, when we meet for our buyer's consultation, if you do not have your lending already, I always recommend you getting with a lender, or if you don't have one, I have several lenders that can get us to the end and get us a pre-approval. We need to have that before we ever go shopping, because we need to know. There's so many buyers that think, oh, I can buy a $500,000 house, but can you really? You don't know that until you get, pre-approved. And just because you got pre-approved a year ago for that, interest rates are different possibly. So that, and debt to income might be different. Your credit score might have dropped or went up. You just never know. So we want to be prepared on the front end and know what your budget is and your payment. A lot of times you need to know what your payment's going to be up front, so that when we go shopping, if it is a $400,000 house, we need to know that you're comfortable with that payment, because I don't want to show you homes that it's going to set you up for a fall. Never want to do that. So up front, we need to know, you need to know with your lender and whoever you do trust as your lender, what your payment's going to be, your approximate payment. It's going to be principal and interest, and your taxes and insurance as well, escrowed into your payment. So, and during the process of buying, so you have up front, we need to get you with the lender. That's really the first thing. After you meet with me, we do the buyer's consultation. We go over start to finish and everything. We get you with the lender, get pre-approved. Now that may take 30 minutes, but that may take a day or 2 days or a week, depending on everybody's circumstances. Everybody's different. So it may take a little bit longer if they want to do their due diligence on the front end to make sure we're going to get a green light all the way through and get it to the end when we go look for a home. Now, your type of loan helps me figure out where we're going to be. Because if you go with a USDA loan, those are only in certain areas. So we can only look in certain areas for USDA loan. So I don't take you to houses with USDA that don't fit into that area, because that is setting you up for a fall. So I need to know what I'm doing on that in order to get you there. Now, you've got your THDA, your VA, FHA, conventional USDA loans, and there's quite a few programs in all of those that each lender has. Some are just specific for that lender, and so it's good to go to one, figure out if you are going to be good at working with them. You just got to get a good feel for who you like when you're working with your lender, because during the process you're going to be actually working with your realtor all the time and your lender back and forth. A lot of my clients call me and text me about everything, no matter what, and that's fine, because I'm their concierge and they know that. So if I don't know the answer, I always make sure that I put us in a text thread together with who does have the right answers as well. So pre-approval up front before we ever go shopping. We cannot have a green light to go shopping. You don't come to me, sit down with me, and us just go shopping unless we've already went through the pre-approval before we ever met. And then we already know, because I've had several over the years that we already know what we can shop for. So we will be sitting in my office, coming up with it and figuring it out and looking at homes. And there's been many times we leave my office right then. I set up showings and we go shopping and we find the one. Like, I've had that happen many times. So it's always great to do that on the front end. But there's so many buyers that just really want to have the consultation first and figure all that out in the process. So it may take us a couple of days and go shopping afterwards. But once you're under contract again, then you got your home inspection, all your contingency period for however many days we set that up in the contract. Once we're past that, we're moving on forward. We're getting quotes on insurance for the lender. That's one thing you need to do up front. And everything in a timely manner to the lender. If they ask for a list of things, get that done, as soon as possible. You need to get all that done. And then, we're moving on to closing. We have walkthroughs. We have final walkthroughs. Sometimes in between, we want to go see the house for certain reasons or whatever. If we ask for things on a home inspection report, we want to go back and make sure that they've been done. So usually we'll set up the final walkthrough anywhere from 1 to 3 days before closing. And then it is closing day. That is the fun day, but the scary day too, for new buyers especially, because that's their first time at closing. So on my end with my title girl, she will come to my office and go over all the docs and, explain everything to my clients, whether they're buying for the first time or the fourth time. You just never know. So there's a lot more in between, but that's kind of the big picture of things. Sometimes I have to say, we set up 3 to 5 showings as a buyer going out to look that day, depending on if we're going in the afternoon or, midday or whatever, sometimes evening. So we can usually get 3 to 5 in, depending on, but there's some that want to go see a lot. And usually within the first few, they've already chosen what house it's going to be. But I have, in the past, I have shown, I think my highest level of showings was like 35, and they never bought a house. So that teaches you a lot in the process when you're new too. I think that's when I was new, and in the middle of winter when it was snowing, so that was fun. But sometimes it doesn't work out to where they even buy. So all the time, the effort, the money involved, the wear and tear on your vehicle, the insurance you pay, and all the expenses you have as a real estate agent, we do not get paid until we actually close on a home. So you just never know. Sometimes buyers, for whatever reason, do not buy a home. I think that one was more or less, one of them I don't think really wanted to buy, and one did. So one was serious and one wasn't. Said they were, but I didn't think so. So you get a feel for people, and that's really, I think over the years I had to change and make sure in the buyer's consultation what was going on with all parties. Like if 2 of you are buying a home together, I want both of y'all there so that I can meet both of y'all, make sure we're going to be able to work good together. I've never turned anybody away, but there are some that I'm like, okay, here's what we need to do here or whatever. But you get to know each other, and make sure that you are a good fit for each other, because this is a relationship, and that goes both ways, and it is a business too. But more than anything, I love building relationships with people. I love people. I love what I do. Real estate is my passion. And I'm my client's concierge for life, as they tell me too. So it doesn't end with closing day for me. I love to stay in contact with them, see what they do to their home, how many kids they have afterwards, if they got puppies, and just all of it. And it just makes my heart happy to, hear things and hear stories afterwards and what they've done and things. So buying can be overwhelming and scary, but I try to take all that out and make it an easier process for my buyers. So hopefully that helped you today learn more about the buying process. There's a lot more involved than what I just said, but my goal is to get you to the closing table and hand you that keys to your home. And everybody smiling at the end as well. If you like my content, please like and subscribe and share it with your friends and family. I will see you soon. Bye-bye, y'all.